Some of the reactions to Fani Willis's testimony yesterday down in Georgia are deranged and deserve to be mocked. As an example, chosen purely at random, here's Marjorie Greene, who had this to say. Fani just advised that you should have 6 months of expenses in cash at your house at all times. Home invasions in Fulton County are about to skyrocket, and Fani won't prosecute because she's only trying to get Trump. So like this is her like trying to take something that was discussed during the testimony and twist it so that she can make the stupid point that she wants to make, but it's utterly not what was actually discussed. So we'll return to what she said to show you multiple other ways that she's wrong there. But Willis said, I always have cash at the house. That's been all my life. If you're a woman and you go on a date with a man, you better have $200 in your pocket. So if that man acts up, you can go where you want to go. It was never that serious. We're not talking about $20,000 in cash. All she said in terms of the 6 months was that her father said that you should have 6 months of cash at her house. She never said that she did. In fact, she said that she didn't, but that's obviously lost on Marjorie Greene because Marjorie Greene has a higher goal here. It's to say, okay, I want this to be about how there's other crimes. You know how Trump says like they're prosecuting me in New York. Meanwhile, there's murder. Why aren't they on that? And so she can't even do the Trump thing. She's like, well, if everybody has 6 months of cash in their house, then people will break in. And in this hypothetical future that I just made up, she wouldn't prosecute them because she's focused on Trump. Burned. What are you talking about, man? Like there are things that if you want to criticize her testimony or the argument that she and special counsel Wade have put forward, if you want to criticize that, you can do that. Lots of people have been doing that over the last day. But she, as always, can be relied on to come up with the dumbest, most dishonest version of that criticism. What do you think?
This is my favorite Marjorie Taylor Greene quote. It's so weird. It's not the through line. You just kind of have to applaud it at a certain point because it's like,
it's so
even the people reading it don't get it. I think the people reading it would be like, I think she wants me to rob Fani Willis. Like that's another thing. It's like if anyone did anything like this on the other side, she'd be up in arms. But she's just like, she's also revealing that she like is a criminal. She has like criminal intents. She's like, this is what I do. It's like she just told on herself. I love it. It's so dumb.
Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait. Click join now on YouTube.
It's like the second she hears there might be money there, she thinks about how she can get it or whatever. Like you're already getting like $170,000 effectively free right now by working in Congress. Is that not enough for you at this point? But anyway, the larger point that she is trying and mostly failing to make is that Fani Willis did something wrong or is alleged to have done something wrong. That's being adjudicated right now. And so it doesn't matter what Donald Trump did in Georgia or the 18 other people who were indicted there. And I just want to briefly remind you that what's being alleged is they tried to steal the electoral votes of Georgia. They failed to win Georgia and they decided, screw the people of Georgia, screw Marjorie Greene's constituents. Their voice should not be heard. Instead, we're just gonna give the votes to Donald Trump. And that came in a variety of different forms. Many of the people that were indicted there were being indicted because of the fake electors scheme, where they were like, well, those electors are doing their job, so we don't like them. We're just gonna come up with some stooges, some lackeys that'll say that we won. And then there's versions of it that are even more direct, like Donald Trump literally calling up the Secretary of State of Georgia and being like, find me exactly as many as votes as I need plus one. And so those are the stakes. But she wants you to think, well, if Fani Willis is a bad person, then it doesn't matter that a president tried to overturn the results of a state election. And Donald Trump seems to agree because he, of course, weighed in on it as well. He has literally nothing else going on in his life, so he's watching all this. And he says, does anybody really believe that Fani Willis paid cash to her lover whenever they took expensive trips together? Really? Where did she get the cash? I mean, really, I've never had to go to the bank. I don't know where it comes from. Pretty weak questioning. I guess they don't want to insult her. No way she can explain any of this corruption away. Okay, so both lover and trips are in quotation marks. I don't know what that means. Like, I get that he thinks quotation marks are bold. So I guess he's saying lover, he wants that to be bolded, but is he questioning whether they were trips? Like they were, that's not what we're debating. We're debating whether it was a corrupt use of money to go on the trips, not whether they were trips. They were definitely trips, you lunatic. But anyway, he thinks, like Marjorie Greene, that if Fani Willis is found to have been corrupt for hiring Wade or whatever, then he gets off the hook. And the weird thing is that might actually be the result, because the system, as always, is set up in a way that you just get a million get out of jail free cards. If Fani Willis slept with a guy in a time when she shouldn't have, and money changed hand, then I guess it doesn't matter that he tried to steal Georgia. That makes sense to these people. What do you think?
Listen, Fani Willis is not making good decisions. I think anyone who watched her testimony is like, she looked like I would look during a testimony if I was mad. Like, you need to not do that. You need to probably not go up when called, but if you're subpoenaed, whatever, you have to comply. She goes up and she's like very witchy, basically. She's upset. She's talking when she shouldn't talk. And by that, I mean, she's oversharing information that wasn't solicited. She doesn't got it, you know? That's one thing. She shouldn't have hired her boyfriend. What are you doing? You idiot. Like,
well, the allegation is that he became her boyfriend. Well, she is saying he became her boyfriend after he had been hired, which is slightly different.
You shouldn't date in the office. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I
largely
agree.
Really, really dumb in a world where Bill Cosby roams the streets because a DA once accidentally promised he wouldn't go to jail in the future. And even though there's evidence he did the bad thing, he is not in jail for the bad thing. And everybody agrees he did the bad thing because you said something. You screwed it up. Like, what are you doing? This is a thing I have with DAs who, like, in general, it is a politician's job. It is a marketer's job. It is a front-facing job. Frequently, when it should be a tactician's job. It should be a boring person's job. It should, at the very least, be someone's job who can perform in a courtroom. Now, that's just a surface level gripe and me taking the bait. The true thing to not do is take the bait, wait till she's probably not gonna get thrown off the case. I think, and this isn't gonna be ruined in any way. This is before a lot of the proceedings, to my understanding. But like, come on, let's keep our eye on the prize, America. And the people on Trump's side, including Trump, just want to say stuff like, I don't know, there's another scandal now. Please look at that squirrel. When really, this is the one trial about the guy stealing democracy from America
that we have so far. Obviously, we're expecting someday the January 6th thing will happen, but yes. So look, I agree. And the thing is, like, we can have a debate about whether we think the allegations are true, and the testimony is ongoing. Her father testified this morning, and I, based on my, I'm in a bubble, but I think he kind of helped her out by explaining why she would have been paying in cash for these things. It does seem on its face a little bit suspicious, but I think that his argument seemed pretty good. But it makes me so mad that this is the thing we're gonna focus on, which is such small potatoes compared to the stealing of a state. Like, it makes me feel like it's like they're investigating the Death Star blowing up Alderaan, and it turns out that the rebel that's investigating it spent too much of his stipend in the cantina on Tatooine, so I guess the Emperor gets off. Like, what are you talking about? How that is only ever the way it works for the wealthiest, most powerful people when they're being investigated for something. How is that possibly the way it could work in this case? Even if it led to her being disqualified, put a new lawyer in and speed this thing up. The idea that he should get away with it, or any of his other co-conspirators should get away with it, is ridiculous to me. And it angers me that that's even a consideration.
Would you say that it is ridiculous to the max, Rebo, and they are voraciously gobbling up every salacious B crumb?
That's exactly how I would say it if I had thought more about it. Yes.
The rancor of these people.
So what could I? Wait, hold on. Sarlacc. No, I don't.
I don't care who.
Anyway,
I don't care who she's laying with at night.
Okay. I don't care if
Utter
she's
some
paired up or
slack.
if she's Han Solo. I don't care. No, we need to get back on track because really fast. I just want to also point out, like, I love that now the nation is like, someone in the judicial system may have taken trips with money they shouldn't have had. And now that's a thing we care about as a country. When Fani Willis went to Napa Valley or something with a dude for a bit.
It's unbelievable.
She didn't, is that a Star Wars? Anyway, something Wookiee. Clarence Thomas and the others have done it for literally years and years and years and years and years. And Republicans were like, oh, I don't care. But now if Fani Willis went to Napa Valley and took the wine train or something, then I guess you get away with trying to overthrow democracy.
So funny.
It's a stupid system we work with.
Chewbacca's a Wookiee. You get away with it.
If Chewbacca's a Wookiee, you must acquit. It all works out in the end. Thank you, South Park.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.